everybody! Welcome to my channel. My name is Heather and we are a fun, fabulous sewing channel. So thanks so much for joining me. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time, I hope you'll stay. Today we are, well, I have to tell you a funny story. So if you've been watching my videos lately, you know that I accidentally went ahead and signed us up for a artisan festival that is happening in 8 days from today. And I have a fair too, an Earth Day festival at the end of April. So I guess we're at the end of March right now. So at the end of April, in a month, we have like a pretty large event, and I had been sort of stressing out about that. And then I don't know what happened, but now we are in a artisan fair in 8 days. And so, okay, that's where we're at, right? So my mom, now, she watches all my videos and I love her to death. She is the best human being I have ever encountered in my life. And if you know my mother, you know that to be true. If you don't, I'll make sure that you meet her and you then will see for yourself. But my mom was here last night, and I hope she'll enjoy the story as much as the rest of you will. She was here. We're sitting on the floor in my studio, and I open up my tote. Yes, you guys, just my one tote that has finished product in it. And I show her the things, the jelly pouches that we did a video for, the key fob wristlets that we did a video for, and then I start telling her about the other things that I just want to make sure that I do. Now this artisan fair that we're doing in 8 days, all we have is one 6-foot table. That's it. So like, this is why I'm not super stressed about it, because it's just 6 feet of space. And we can't have anything like on the floor or like hanging up, or it's literally just this 6-foot table. So I'm like, you know what? Like, we can do a 6-foot table. We can do that. So, you know, I'm showing her these things, and you're going to love this. You're going to be thankful that you stayed for this story before we get into what we're doing today. And I am explaining all the things that I want to do. And she looks me dead in the face and says, "You do not have a lot done." Thanks. Thank you. Thanks so much, Mom. And I was like, yes, I know that. And she's like, "You have a lot to do." Dead serious. I was like, no, thank you. I didn't realize that I had a lot to do. This has been so helpful to me. Just like, I had to share, because she's fabulous and so honest and so hardworking, and that's a lot of where I get my attributes from. And it's just so funny to have somebody who's just like you look you straight in the face and tell you exactly what you already know but don't want to say out loud. So that's where we are. We're not where we need to be. Just as my mom. Sorry. Just so it's amazing. It's amazing. But we're moving on. So we have jelly pouches. We have key fob wallets. I do have some scrunchies made already. I have to make some more, of course, because obviously I'm not ready. But today we're going to do book sleeves with bows, and I'm going to show you. So here's one of them already done. And the one we're going to do together today is a little different, because we're going to have a different back panel on it. I ordered this is what I do, right? This fabric, by the way, is from Luxe, and it is fabulous. Look at the books. It's amazing. And I quilted it in this like diamond weave pattern for the first time in this like 2-inch wide sort of way. And I'm going to quilt on with you guys too at the machine. So if you've never done that, I'm going to show you that too. And we'll work through the bow together and all of those things. But anyways, if I'm not sure of like a type of material or like a design of a material, I'll order like a small amount of it and then figure out if I like it or not. And I should have ordered a large amount of this because I'm obsessed with it, but I didn't know So I had a small amount. So I have made 2 of these so far, which my mom will tell you is not enough. I've made 2 of them, and they're so cute. I'm going to give you guys the measurements to make these 2. I know that I've made book sleeves before. Once when I first started my YouTube, RIP old YouTube me. I mean, that video is still there, but don't come for me about it. And then I made one with home goods placemats when I was doing this series to organize myself for work. So this style is just a little different, and we add the bow in here and the quilting, which we hadn't done before. And so I just kind of wanted to share. Now my hopes will be that I'll be able to do a couple more of these, just using maybe like some different materials. But for now we're going to focus on just finishing the 3rd one, which will be the final one that has this fabulous vintagey floral book material. So that'll be the last one that we do. So we're going to do that together. Like I said, it'll have a different back, but I think it'll be totally fine. While I was sitting on the floor with my mother last night too, I found this panel. It's like a vintage library. And I decided that with the book sleeves, we're gonna make this into a tote. So this will be the video that follows this one. So if you're interested to see what we do with this and how we make that, make sure you subscribe so you get those little notifications that we've got a new video. But like I said, I'm going to give you all the measurements you need to make this and the bows yourself at the top. And yeah, let's help me. Let's help me prepare for the craft fair that I am so not prepared for, and head on over to the machine and get going. All right, you guys, so we are at the machine, which is a Juki TL 2010Q. We're using Tex 35 weight thread in the top and the bobbin. We have our tank foot on, and I always get a lot of questions about this. I ordered it from Soulful Therapy a super long time ago. It was in their Notions section, and I haven't seen it since. And I don't think that the other ones that look similar are the same, because I've had a couple people tell me they ordered ones and they just weren't it. So anyways, it's a tank foot. We're using a Microtex 9014 needle like always. I hardly ever take that out. Okay, so for materials here, we have this. This is a lightweight waterproof canvas from Luxe Fabric Designs. And I think probably next time I would get the medium weight. It does fray a bit on the sides, which it won't fray once we sew it, but it frays now, which it can unravel if you don't sew it quickly enough, but it's fabulous, like fabulous. And then we've got our high density batting. This stuff I got on a roll at Walmart. So there's that. Now for our back piece, like I said, it's going to be a little different, but we're going to use this beautiful faux croc from Endo Love Creations. It is brown, and I'm gonna tie this in somehow to where we put these book sleeves so that it all sort of makes sense. But this will be our back, and we're not gonna put batting on this. We're just gonna let it be as is. So there's that. And then for our interior and our bow, we're using this lightweight waterproof canvas from Zipper Valley. It's Mountain Mist, I think is the color. And before I go any further, I'm going to just pop the measurements that you need to make this on the screen so that you can screenshot them. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully you can read that. I'm going to hold it here, so if you're like watching on your phone, you can screenshot it, or if you're watching on something else, you can use your phone to screenshot it, or you can write it down. So our bow strips, we're going to cut 3.5 inches wide by 19 inches long, and you want 2 of them. I'll show you those in 1 second, like I said, after you've had time to write this down or screenshot it. And our main panels are 9.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a bow strip here. So you'll want to do 3.5 inches wide. This is what I'm considering wide. And then your length is 19 inches. And you want 2 of these panels cut. And then for our exterior and our interior, it's the same measurements. It's that 9.5 inches in width by 11 inches in height. Okay? And then for batting, like when you're quilting, this does not have to be perfect. It's not an exact science. You're going to cut it off anyways. And it's just easier. When I'm cutting a bunch of them, I just sort of cut around. And it makes it so much easier. Trust. Seriously. All right. So now this is just an Omni grid that I bought for quilting. It has these like really cool 60, 45, and 30 degree lines on here. And I love that. And I've used it before. For this, for the purpose of this, we're just going to go corner to corner to sort of make our lines. I'm not gonna make you watch me make all the lines, but we're gonna go corner to corner, and we're using an air erasing marker here. Okay. And then we're just gonna go off of that line, and we're lining up our 2 inches right on that line that we just made, and then 2 inches over is where we make our secondary line. And so that's why I like this long one. You can see through it. It's super simple. I have a couple Omni grids that are a little bit different, and they all work well for different things. This one is my favorite for making quilt lines. And perhaps eventually what I'll do is get one of those feet that puts the like inches for you, so you don't have to draw the lines. But we're not there yet because, believe it or not, I just started quilting probably a couple of months ago. I was so anti-quilt, and then I did it on vinyl, and I was like, what is my problem? This is amazing, and I have not turned back since. All right, so we're just creating these final marks, and then we're, like I said, we're doing the diamond. And so in order for that to be accurate, you do have to then come up to this other corner, and you're making the same lines just on the other diagonal. So again, we'll start by going corner to corner, and then we'll make 2-inch lines from here. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then we will quilt these up. All right, you guys, all of our lines are done, and I always pick one of the longest lines to start at. I don't know what you're supposed to do, or if there's like a right way or a wrong way. There's our way, and you know, I fully believe that you do you and figure out what you like, what you don't like. Make it your way. All right, so we're just gonna go all the way down, and I just like to pull this fabric. Our batting is very fluffy, and this is not vinyl, so I just like to give it just a little pull and make sure it's where we want it to be. And I am backstitching at the beginning and the end. And so here you can see we've made one line, and I always start them in the same side of the fabric and end them on the same side of the fabric. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but this is what I have found I like the most. And these lines will fade fast, so you can't draw these the night before and go back. You have to be committed to following these lines, or you're going to be doing it all over again. And yes, I do know that from experience. These air erasing markers, they erase different in different time frames from different materials. I've seen them just stay there on the back of a piece of vinyl forever. Put them on something you want to quilt though, and all of a sudden they're like magical unicorns disappearing right before your eyes. I like this 2-inch wide quilt because it actually does not take very long to do at all. It's pretty fast and it still makes a really cool design. I'm low-key obsessed with the book sleeves that we've made so far, but I'm gonna keep my Home Goods placemat one because it matches my work set, and I always have a book with me at work. Always. Plus, if I just keep keeping things, I mean, it's not gonna work out for me. I cannot keep hoarding things in the studio. We're running out of space. All right, so one last line on this side, and then we'll get to do our diagonals. All right, so here we go. And bring it up close. And like, you could even leave it just this one way. I guess that's what I fell in love with about quilting, is it really goes with my like you do you motto, because there is nothing that says like you quilted that wrong. That's like not a thing that exists. So I like it. But for the purpose of this, we're gonna keep it the same as our other book sleeves. Well, the same as possible, since I ran out of material for the back. But that's okay. And we're gonna quilt this way. Diamond pattern. Also, don't come for me if that's not what it's called. Okay? That's what I'm calling it. This is my diamond pattern. We don't do a lot of in-person events. In fact, last year we did 0. So I really wanted to try to make it a point to get back out there and see people. I think we're gonna get some different tables. We had like very heavy, pretty long tables, and I think what I would like to do is just grab a couple 6-foot tables that, you know, the folding ones that are a little easier to carry. It's just like, I don't know, if you guys watching have done fairs and festivals, like they're a lot of work to set up and break down and put everything in your car, and it's just like so much more than just what you see when you're like at somebody's table. I love going to them as like a person who buys things. So what I'm trying to do this year is fall back in love with being a person who loves to vend at these events. And I think we're on our way because I'm very excited about the things that are going to be on the table. And I'm excited to take you guys with us. I think that will be fun, and just like excited to share. So just excited all around. All right, so we only have one more line left. And this is, of course, in real-time quilting this, so you can see how long it takes to draw the lines and then follow them. I think I only drew a couple lines without you, so not really missing much. All right, we are just gonna cut off our extra batting and our extra little tidbits of fabric that have sort of frayed off. Okay, and now what we're going to do is put our nameplate on. And you guys are in luck because I did this order recently, so I know where these came from. Let me just grab one to show you. I got some new name tags because I knew that we would be doing events and I'd be having to make like a good amount of things. So I got these, and I had shown some other ones that I got recently also, but I will, you guys, you know what? I didn't say it before, but I will link everything that I can in the description box below. So make sure that you click see more in the description, and you'll be able to see where I got anything that I could find. We're gonna go this way, and we're just using this as our center, which is also kind of super helpful. So then we don't have to, you know, we don't have to figure it out. I'm just going to fold this in half just to find the center of this, because I have not figured that out yet. These are new to me. So this is the first, these 3 book sleeves are the first time I'm using these, and I love them. They're so pretty. All right, so we're just going to sew this on. And I'm honestly still trying to figure out like how to line these exact ones up. I do backstitch here also, and obviously we're using white thread on this brown, so you are going to see it, but that's okay with me. I'm just going to make the stitch length a little shorter so we can get just a little closer to that edge. Same thing. Cut off our thread here. And then I'm just trying to stay sort of lined up to where I was on the bottom. It goes through some of the swirlies in my name, but at this moment I'm okay with that. I might try to put, honestly, some rivets in the sides of these instead of sewing them onto some other like pouch type bags. That's kind of what I'm thinking. There we go. Our name is all set. All right, we're gonna set this to the side for now. And we're going to work on our bow. So we're going to take the wrong side. So this is the right side. We're going to put right sides together. And you can clip this all if you'd like. Now the most important piece here is we're going to make that sort of bow end just by stitching. So we're going to take this top corner, the one that's folded over, and we're going to put that exactly where our needle is going to drop. And we're just going to go straight down until about a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the open material. And then we're going to pivot. And then we're going to go all the way down our open edges of the bow. At a 1/4 inch seam allowance, okay? Back stitch, and then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to trim away that excess and this corner here, okay? And then you want like a turn tool. I'm not going to show you on camera, but you basically like stick your turn tool in and then pull it down. If you ever want me to show you what that looks like, let me know. I'll make a little specialized video for it. But you're going to want to turn both of your bows, and then you're going to want to iron them. And I don't do a lot of ironing of material typically, but I'll show you what these look like unironed before I iron them, and then what they look like ironed, and you will agree that they do in fact need to be ironed. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn these and iron them, and then I'm going to turn these and then I'll show you what they look like. All right, so here's what they look like turned without a little pressy press. And so you can see they're like wrinkly. They seem like maybe they're not going to tie nicely. So this is why we're going to take these over and press them. And we're going to press them with our seam sort of to one side so that our seam is just out here on the outer edge. All right, and now once ironed, they look so much crisper and just they're ready to go. All right, so we're gonna take one and we're just gonna center it above where we put our tag, and it's sort of in the center of where our lines intersect as well. And we're gonna baste it down. So we're just gonna 1/8 of an inch. Perfect, just like so. And then we're going to take our back, and we have the center cut in that. And we're going to take the center of our bow and just baste that on as well. All right, so now our exteriors are ready to be put together. And so I'm just gonna, to keep our bow out of the way, we're gonna do a nice little fold here, and we'll unclip it as soon as we have our exteriors sewn together. We just don't want to accidentally sew over them. So we're gonna take our exteriors and we're gonna put them right sides together. And we want the tops to match. That's the most important part. Our bows to match up. Okay. And then we're going to clip down our sides from there. And so, honestly, I sort of cut the other back just based on the batting. So we're a little off, and that's totally fine. We'll cut off our extra. I'm not worried about it. Once I realized I had run out of fabric, I basically just scrambled. So this is what happens when you scramble cut. So we're gonna keep this side, our quilted side up because it's smaller, and we wanna make sure that we stitch it together correctly. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance here, you guys. And so, you know, if you've watched me, that's my fave seam allowance. And we're just going to keep lined up with our quilted side. And we're going to go around all the sides but the top at that 1/4 inch seam allowance. One more. All right, and then all the way back up to the top. right, so now we're gonna really be mindful about cutting off our excess material. We don't want that to interfere in any way. We're also gonna cut our corners so that we can get a nice poke out. Just don't cut through your stitching. Okay. And we're gonna turn this. We are gonna do a drop-in lining here. It is so simple. If you've never done a drop-in lining before, this is a great opportunity to try it out before you do like a big bag or something of the sort. So we're just gonna get in here and poke out those corners really nicely as possible. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take this off. And there we are. With our exterior. So far, so good. Okay, we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to grab our two interior panels. We're going to find the wrong sides because we want these to be right sides together. Okay, so right sides together. We're just going to clip along all three sides, and we're going to leave what will become the top, so one of the short sides, open. Okay. And same thing here, we're going to sew together. We're going to go we're going to keep the top at about 1/4 inch, and then we're going to sort of go out to 3/8 of an inch just to make sure that we don't have a lot of bulk down in our bag. We're leaving the top open as we did on the exterior, and we're not leaving a turn hole because we're not turning. We're just going to drop in, call it a day. I'm a big fan of drop-in lining. I know not everybody is. So of course, if you really don't like it, you don't have to do it like that. We're just sort of bringing ourselves back to that 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, we're gonna come down and we're just gonna cut off the extra, the corners. Again, we don't want that bulk in there, sort of taking up valuable book space. And we're almost done, you guys. So this project is very easy, very fast, although apparently if you ask my mother, not fast enough. I can't let it go. All right, we're gonna keep this with our wrong sides out. So our right sides are on the inside. We're gonna take our bag and we're putting our wrong sides in to the wrong sides of our exterior, okay? So our right sides are in. All right. So this is the wrong side and this is the wrong sides together. What we're gonna do now is we're just gonna take our exterior and we're gonna fold it over, and we're folding over about 1/4 of an inch, okay? And we're gonna do that all the way around. Just our exterior for now. And you do want to make sure you fold over your bow too, but we're not going to sew down our bow other than in between our layers. All right, so I'm going to keep clipping all the way around at 1/4 of an inch. All right, so now we're all clipped, you guys, and we're just gonna take our interior, right, our lining, and this is our right side, the inside. So what we want to do is we're actually going to fold this about 1/4 of an inch, and if you don't like 1/4 of an inch, like you do you, just make it the same. We're going to take this, we're going to butterfly our seams, and we're going to folding that to the outside. Okay, so that's what gives us that sort of finished look. Okay, and we're going to fold these in to all of our clips. Like so. And I'm going to come over here, going to find our other seam. I'm folding out. Okay. Like so. And we're just going to go around, like I said, and we're just going to keep folding out and getting that sort of folded into our clips so that we can do a final top stitch. So I'm going to keep folding this in, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we have everything where we want it. All right, so now you can see everything is folded nicely in place. And that's what's going to give us our finished top edge and our finished book sleeve. So here we go back to the sewing machine here. And I like to start on the back. I don't know why, but I just feel like it's easier than starting on the front, because obviously when these are laying down, you're not going to see the back stitching or anything like that. So, and we are going to back stitch, always back stitch. And now we're just going to top stitch our two materials together. And we're going to be mindful of the seams here, because they are going to be the only bulky bit that we have going on. They shouldn't be too bulky, but they're going to be bulkier than the rest of it. You're going to hear my machine when it gets to those bulky bits, and so I'm just going one stitch at a time. Does it take a little bit longer? Yes, but I would rather take a little bit longer and get a nice stitch than end up with a stitch that I am just not a fan of. All right, so we're coming to one of our bows here soon, and so we just want to make sure that our bow is sticking straight up here, okay? It's not folded in or over, it is straight up. And that's going to give our bow a nice finish. It's going to be super secure in there between our layers. Okay, and we're already coming back around to that second seam. So you can see how fast this goes together. And there you go, you heard the bulk in my machine. Okay, we're coming up to that second bow here. So we're going to make sure once again that it's straight. Give it that nice security. And right back where we started. We will clip our threads here. We will. right, and there we go, you guys. That is our finished book sleeve. Book sleeve number 3. So we're just gonna tie her together, make our bow. I have never paid attention to how I made a bow before before making these, and I don't know if it's how everyone else makes a bow or not, you know? All right, let's go over to the finished table and take a look. All right, you guys. Book sleeve number 3 is complete. So, I mean, they're like very similar, obviously, from the front, just different on the back. So I'll put this in probably in the middle of these other 2 that are the same, because we do have 2 that are the same, but they'll be sort of on the table. And we will make ourselves a little book tote bag too. But there we go. We're all done. So yeah, these are easy, they're fast, depending on the materials and the quilting and things, like everything is different, but I'm just such a big fan of these bows, like such a fan. They're so cute. It is just such a cute way to close something. I'm kind of obsessed with the bows these days. I like that it's like secure. You could put a Kindle in here too, and it's gonna like hold it in place. It's also, it's gonna expand your bag, you know, so we'll untie a bow so you can see the inside of one of these. There's a ton of space. Like, it's so useful. Like I said, Kindle, book, both. If you have a thin enough book, just retying the bow. But yeah, so we're done 3 of these. These are gonna go in the finished tote bin, the one that was laughed at last night. But like, I feel great that I have completed these. I'm just, wow, spending a lot more time tying this bow than I thought. Okay, so I feel awesome that these are done. I think they're gonna look so, so cute on the table at the craft fair. And if I have time, which I don't know if I will or not, I'm going to make some more of these in some different fabrics. But you'll see, because I'm bringing you to the craft fair too. So, or the artisan fair, I'm bringing you. You're going to be there. And you'll see whatever our table ends up looking like. We're gonna get it done. I hope that you enjoyed today. Remember, the measurements are earlier in the video. So if you skipped ahead, they are there when we sit down at the sewing machine. I put them there for a long time so that you can take a look at them for yourself. You can screenshot it, whatever it is that you'd like to do, so that you can make some of these too, because honestly, these bows are where it's at. These bows are where it's at. I'm telling you. Thank you so much for joining me and being on this journey with me. I appreciate you guys so, so much, and I will see you soon.